Today's lesson is called Thor's Journey to the Land of Giants. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff.
My name is Roger. And again, we're going to continue summarizing our featured story from Norse mythology, Thor's Journey to the Land of Giants. Now, if you had joined us last time in our program, you found out that the main characters in this story were Thor, Loki, and, well, the servant Thjalfi, and also the giant Skrimir. And at the very end of our story last time, we met the king of Utgard.
There you go. Now remember, Utgard is filled with giants. Big, strong, tough giants. Also recall that Thor had smacked a giant on the head 3 times with his magic hammer, and it did nothing, okay? This giant thought, hey, no big deal at all. I didn't even feel that. Now, that particular giant later warns Thor and Loki that, hey, Utgard is a serious place, okay? It's filled with giants that are bigger and tougher than I am, and that they dislike arrogant men. So Thor and Loki need to watch their arrogance. Now, is this going to be easy for them? Probably not. After all, they are gods. Anyways, the king that they met there, the king wanted to see if Thor and Loki were really super cool or that they were superior to other men as far as their skills were concerned. So this king put to Thor and Loki a set of challenges. And yes, we'll be talking about these today, so stay tuned. Anyways, yeah, folks, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Loki was asked by the king to compete in an eating contest against a servant. Although the two ate the same amount of food, Loki saw that the servant had eaten part of the table too. Thjalfi, a fast runner, was also unexpectedly beaten in a race.
各位好，第一部分我们看到动词 compete 指竞争、参加比赛。例如 Phil practices every afternoon to get ready to compete in the piano competition. Phil 为了在钢琴比赛里竞争，他每天下午都练习。或是 Jack is too shy to compete in the singing contest.Jack 太害羞，不敢参加歌唱比赛。另外补充2个相关片语。第一 ，compete with somebody 表示与某人竞争，像是 Several of my coworkers are competing with each other for the open position in management. 我的几位同事在互相竞争管理职的空缺。第二 ，compete for something 表示争夺某事物。举例来说 ，The teams are competing for the title. 这些队伍在争夺冠军。
All right, let's talk about the first part of our lesson for today. Remember where we left off, the king of Utgard set these particular people, Loki, Thor, and I guess the servant as well, set them a set of challenges that they needed to perform to show exactly what they could do. Show me what you got. Show me what you can do. So I guess since they're guests here in Utgard, they have no choice but to accept those challenges. So the first challenge is to Loki. Loki was asked by the king to compete in an eating contest against a servant.
Wait. Are you joking?
An eating contest.
An eating contest? Are they going to eat hot dogs or something?
Yeah, I was going to say the famous Nathan's hot dog eating contest in New York City. Maybe that's what they're going to eat, hot dogs, or maybe there's going to be a pie eating contest, or maybe a jalapeno pepper eating contest.
Ooh, that would be a tough contest.
But in this particular case, yes, if you are in a contest or a game or a competition, you are going to compete against someone else, or maybe you're going to be competing against yourself. So here we've got the verb to compete, which means you're going to be in a competition with somebody else.
There you go. Every fall, I compete in the Taipei Marathon. I train for that marathon, then I run and see how well I can do compared to other runners. Now, will I ever win the Taipei Marathon? Not a chance. I won't be number one. I won't be the champion of the day. No. But I will compete, and I'll try to see how well I can do compared to other runners. That's what it means to compete, by the way. The word compete is a verb. The noun would be competition. When people get together and they compete, you call that a competition. It might be an event or a group of events, so on and so forth. Now, a contest is a whole lot like a competition. So here you could say that this was an eating contest or an eating competition. Now, Loki, apparently the king thought, hey, Loki, you look like you can eat. Let's see how much you can eat, how well you can eat. I am going to pit you against a servant. Now, although during the competition, the two ate the same amount of food, Loki saw that the servant had eaten part of the table too. So they ate the same amount of food, but the servant went out of his way and also ate a part of the table. Amazing.
Interesting. So I think that means that the servant probably won the competition. And then we've got Thjalfi, who was a fast runner. He was also unexpectedly beaten in a race. So things are going against our heroes in today's lesson here. Loki lost in the eating contest against a servant. And now we've got Thjalfi, the servant, who actually could run quite fast. He was still unexpectedly beaten in a race. He was expected to win because he was so fast, but hey, he was unexpectedly defeated. No one thought that he would lose.
Yes, Thjalfi, though, he's a fast guy, but he's just been beaten as well. So first, Loki lost, and now Thjalfi has lost as well. I wonder what's going to happen to Thor. Anyways, yes, next we will learn about Thor and what he has to do and whether or not he'll win at his particular challenge. We'll start reading about that right after this.
Thor's turn was next. His challenge was to empty a drinking horn in one gulp, but try as he might, he failed. Then he had to lift a huge cat off the ground, but managed to raise just one paw. In the last challenge, Thor wrestled an old woman, but was easily thrown to the ground.
第二部分，我们看到单字 gulp， 这个字是名词，指一大口吞咽的分量，像是 in one gulp 就表示一口气。例如 The thirsty runner took a large gulp of water from his bottle. 口渴的跑者从瓶子里喝了一大口水。另外，这个字也可以当动词，指狼吞虎咽的吃，大口饮下。我们可以说 You shouldn't gulp down your food because it's not healthy to eat so fast. 你吃饭不要狼吞虎咽，因为吃太快并不健康。接着我们看到动词 wrestle， 指与点点点摔跤、角力、搏斗。举例来说 The zookeeper wrestled the large snake back into its cage. 动物管理员和大蛇搏斗，把它关回笼里。另外补充一个相关片语 wrestle with something， 表示挣扎、思绪等，像是 Alan wrestled with the decision of quitting his job to start his own company. Alan 为辞掉工作、开公司创业的决定而陷入挣扎。
All right, here's the second part, and now it's Thor's turn. Well, when you're in a competition, of course, some person goes first, and then you go second. So when it's your time to do your thing in the competition, we say it's your turn. It was your turn. Now it's my turn. It's now my time to compete or do something. So Thor's turn was next. Here's his challenge. His challenge was to empty a drinking horn in one gulp. But try as he might, he failed. Now, back in those days, of course, they drank out of different kinds of containers. Nowadays, we will drink out of glasses or cups or mugs or whatever. But back then, you could kill an animal that had horns, and then you could cut the horn off the animal, and the horn was hollow. And if you turned it upside down, you could fill it up with beer or mead or wine or whatever it is that you wanted to drink. And then you could just tip it up to your mouth and drink to your heart's content. So his challenge was to empty that drinking horn. And he was only supposed to do it in one gulp. Gulp here just refers to one swallow when you're drinking especially.
Yeah, usually when you take a small drink of something, you take a sip. Okay? When you take a big drink of something, you usually call that a gulp. Yeah, you might fill your mouth full of fluid and then swallow it all at one time. That would be one gulp. By the way, you can sip a beverage. Okay, you can use that word sip as a verb, and the same goes for gulp as well. You can take a gulp or you can gulp down a beverage. Now, Thor, his brother had to eat. He has to drink. Empty this drinking horn in one gulp, but he's not able to do so. Try as he might, he failed. So he tried really hard. He put all of his effort into doing this, but he failed.
Yep, try as he might. You could also say, no matter how hard he tried, he was still unsuccessful. He failed. So he tried his hardest, he tried his best, but it wasn't good enough. He still failed. He was not able to empty that drinking horn in one gulp.
There you go. Now, Thor, he's not done yet. He just failed the whole drinking portion of his challenge, but there's more next. Thor, he had to lift a huge cat off the ground, but managed to raise just one paw. So he was supposed to pick up the entire cat, but he managed only a single paw. He was only able to do this.
The hand or foot of an animal is oftentimes referred to as a paw. So if you tell your dog to sit down, then you say, oh, shake paws. No, don't shake hands, shake paws. Humans have hands. Cats and dogs have paws. So he was just able to raise one paw of that giant cat. And in the last challenge, Thor wrestled an old woman, but was easily thrown to the ground. So he was probably told to wrestle an old woman. He thought, an old woman? That's no contest. I'm going to win that with my hands tied behind my back. No problem. Wrestle, of course, is when you grab and twist and turn another person to try to get them on the ground. There are different kinds of wrestling, but in this particular case, he lost that old woman. He was easily thrown to the ground.
All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up our story.
Finally, the king explained his tricks. Loki's opponent was actually fire, which consumes everything. Thialfi raced against the king's thoughts, which are faster than action. The horn was filled with the ocean, and Thor created the tides when he tried to empty it. The old woman, old age, overcomes everyone. The cat was actually a snake that encircled the world. When Thor tried to lift it, he shifted the earth. And the blows received by Skrymir, the king in disguise, created the earth's valleys. The king finished speaking, and the castle disappeared.
"第三部分我们看到单字 overcome 这个字是动词，指克服、战胜。例如 Brian was finally able to overcome his money problems. Brian 终于克服了财务问题。或是 The military overcame the opposing army. 军队战胜了敌军。另外补充一个相关片语 be overcome with 加上情绪名词，表示满腔点点点，不胜点点点。像是Alice was overcome with happiness when her parents gave her a puppy. Alice 的爸妈送她一只小狗时，她开心得不得了。或是 Martha was overcome with anger when she learned her brother had read her diary. Martha 得知弟弟偷看了她的日记时气炸了。最后，我们看到动词 encircle 指环绕、围绕，像是 The police encircled the building where the man was hiding. 警方包围该男子藏匿的大楼。
Okay, so all these guys lost in their competitions, in their challenges against various foes, as introduced by the king here. So they're probably wondering, hey, how come we lost those challenges?
Yeah,
we should have won.
We're gods, right?
Yeah,
how can
Thor,
we lose?
Loki, I'm the servant of the gods here. We should have won hands down. Well, the king was a nice guy. He said, well, let me explain it to you. Finally, the king explained his tricks. He explained how he was able to defeat them using these different tricks or these different opponents. Loki's opponent was actually fire, which consumes everything. So Loki's competition was he was to eat. Okay, he was supposed to have this eating competition, but he lost because his opponent, the person he was competing against, was actually fire. Fire can burn anything, so how can you possibly defeat fire if they can burn through food and especially if they can burn into a table?
There you go. So Loki thought, what's going on here? We ate the same amount of food, but this person also ate part of the table. Well, Loki wasn't actually fighting against a person, a giant even. Loki's opponent was actually fire. By the way, if you are in a contest, let's say, that other person, let's say, that you're trying to beat is your opponent. Anyways, yes, that's what the word opponent mean. And here, if you consume something, you kind of eat that thing. And when fire consumes something, it kind of eats that up and consumes it. It uses it up and destroys it. That's what fire does when it consumes something.
Yep, it burns, it consumes everything. So that explains how Loki lost in his eating contest. Now we've got the servant Thjalfi, okay? He raced against the king's thoughts, which are faster than action. Okay, our thoughts are pretty fast, but my goodness, the king of Utgard, his thoughts are going to be really, really fast. How could anyone possibly defeat the king's thoughts? If you measure the speed of, how fast neurons move through the nervous system of the body, there's no way anybody can run that fast, let alone the nerve pathways of a king.
Now, let's move on to Thor here. The horn was filled with the ocean, and Thor created the tides when he tried to empty it. So there you go. Thor really tried hard and was doing a pretty good job considering the circumstances here. In that horn there was the entire ocean. Oh my goodness. No wonder Thor wasn't able to take that down in one gulp.
Yep, indeed. And Thor created the tides when he tried to empty it, so it was kind of self-defeating there. If Thor tried to empty the drinking horn, the tides would just go up. Remember, the tides are when the water is high and when it's low, high tide, low tide, according to the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon. So he would never be able to empty that drinking cup there, or drinking horn. And then it goes on to explain how Thor lost in the wrestling match to the old woman. Okay, old age overcomes everyone. Interesting. So yeah, if you're old, hey, old age is going to overcome you eventually, faster to you than to younger people. But to overcome just means to defeat someone in the end.
There you go. So Thor was beaten or overcome by an old lady because she represented old age. And in the end, we're all beaten by old age, we grow old, and then we die. Anyways, the cat, more on the cat here. The cat was actually a snake that encircled the world. So remember, we talked about the cat before. Thor just couldn't pick it up. He could only manage a single paw. Why? Well, the cat was actually a snake that encircled the world.
Encircle, to go completely around something. So this was a really long snake here. It went all the way around the world. And when Thor tried to lift it, he shifted the earth. If something shifts, it just kind of moves from one position to the other. Like your baggage stowed in the overhead compartment in the plane, it might shift around during the flight.
There you go. Now, when Thor tried to lift it, he shifted the earth, and there's more. And the blows received by Skrimir, the king in disguise, created the earth's valleys. So there you go. Here we're getting into the mythical elements of this story, where the world came from. Now we know where the tides came from. Now we know about where the earth's valleys came from as well. How about that? How cool.
Yep, indeed. And of course, Thor and Loki and Thjalfi were traveling with that giant by the name of Skrimir, but they did not know that Skrimir was actually the king in disguise. And if you're in disguise, that means you're kind of dressed up, or you change your voice in such a way so that people do not recognize you. They think you are someone else. So yes, this was really the king, and when he got bashed over the head by Thor, it probably created some vibrations or earthquakes, which created the earth's valleys. And the king finished speaking, and the castle disappeared. And that brings us to the end of our wonderful story. It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文一开始写到，国王要洛基和一名仆人比赛吃东西。那这边有一个单字是 contest， 就表示竞赛。我们来看它的字首字根。好， test 这个字根呢，它表示见证人、证物或是证词，所以有一些法律名词像 testimony 证词， testify 作证，都可以看出这个字根的意思。那么在 contest 这个字当中，它的字首 con 表示一起，那么字根 test 表示见证。好，那在法律诉讼的攻防战里面啊，这个提告跟被告双方都需要召唤证人，我们可以从这样的场景去联想说 contest 这个字，它当动词有争辩抗辩的意思，不过呢，当动词是念作 contest， 然后当名词是念作 contest， 可以表达竞争竞赛。好，那么在课文第3部分，国王解释了他的戏法。他说洛基的对手其实是火，火能吞噬一切。那么动词 consume 在这边是用来表达火的吞噬烧毁。那我们也来学习 consume 的字首字根。好，看到字根 sume 或者是 sumpt， 它就有这种拿、消耗、花费的意思。那么在 consume 这个字当中，它的字首 con 是做强调用，那么 sume 表示花费取用，合在一起 consume 它就有消耗、花费或者是食用、饮用的意思。顺便补充有这一类字根的单字。好，第一个要补充的是 sumptuous sumptuous。好，那它的字根这个 sumpt 表示花费，然后 ous 是形容词字尾，把它合在一起。sumptuous 它是用来形容昂贵的、奢侈的或是豪华的。第二个补充的单字是 resume resume， 它的字首 re 表示再次，那么字根 sume 表示取用，再次取用。好，我们来看看，把它合在一起 resume 呢，它就有继续进行、重新开始的意思咯。第3个补充的是 assume 它的字首 as 是来自 ad， 那么 ad 只是因为碰到 s 开头的字根而变成了 as， 那么这个 ad 的字首呢，它有朝向的意思，那么字根 sume 表示拿。好，从字面意思来看呢，它有拿取、承担的意思，那么 assume 这个字它就有承担某个职务或是责任的语义哦，像 assume debt 表示承接债务， assume the presidency 就可以表达就任总统了。好，那么后来从16世纪末开始呢， assume 它开始有这种假定、假设、猜想、以为的意思。第4个补充的是 presume presume， 那它的字首 pre 它表示预先，字根 sume 表示拿。那么 presume 在拉丁文当中，它是指夺取、占领，它后来才开始有这种推断、认定、假定的意思。这边讲到这里啊，同学们会觉得 assume 跟 presume 意思好像差不多不过其实有所不同哦。assume 它通常是在毫无依据的情况下做出直觉的猜测，没有特别的理由或证据而做出假设、猜想。那么 presume 通常是基于有迹可循的证据来做出推断，而且是对结果有一定的把握。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Compete. The 2 baseball teams competed in the final game. Contest. The writing contest is open to anyone between the ages of 14 and 18. Gulp. My dog always swallows treats in one big gulp without chewing. Opponent. The president's political opponents say that he is too soft when it comes to fighting crime. Consume. The whole house was consumed by fire within minutes. Overcome. Following a long battle, the army was finally able to overcome the enemy. Shift. Amy shifted her bag from one hand to the other.
Discussion Starter starts now!
It's time now for our discussion starter for today. And here's the question. What did you like about the Norse myth of how the world was created?
You know, I like this myth because in these Norse myths, very often the gods are shown to be powerful but not all-powerful in some situations. I like the fact that this king from Utgard there was able to fool the gods, Thor and Loki. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I think this myth is interesting because it's so much fun and it's creative. Even though we all know it's probably not true, the world and the universe probably was begun through something very scientific. But in this particular case, hey, we have something to talk about when we sit around a campfire at night under the stars with things to eat and drink.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.